Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 12th episode for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one, first, we're going to give our thoughts on Negan's guts tactic, whether or not it would actually work to cause someone to turn if they were hit or stabbed by one of the infected weapons. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen The Walking Dead up to current date, which is up to The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 11. So Episode 12, if you guys also haven't seen my review for Episode 11, it's in the channel right now. I'll have it in the end screen videos after this one if you want to watch it, as well as my predictions for what I think is going to happen in Episode 12, because it looks like an amazing one. Rick's in it, Negan's in it, Daryl's in it, everybody's, all the good, A, B listers are in that episode, and it just looks awesome. Looks like we're going to get to see some action, maybe a confrontation between Rick and Negan, the start to what's going to happen with the whole zombie guts idea, or infected walker blood virus weapons, this kind of thing, and see one of these battles go down between Simon, Dwight, the Saviors, and the Hilltop group, Maggie, everybody. So it looks really awesome. Can't wait to see it, and check out my predictions in the end videos after this one for you guys to see. So this is one that's been long debated since the release of the original issues for this part of The Walking Dead, which is Volume 21, Part 2 of All Out War. So this is the volume where Negan gunks up the weapons with the zombie guts, the zombie blood. He kind of has the idea. And I believe he kind of thinks of it on his own from what we see in the comic book series. In the TV series, I like that they kind of use, this is him in the comic version, gunking up the weapons and kind of showing everybody. But I don't recall anyone ever giving him the idea. In the TV series, I like the idea that it's Eugene that gives him this kind of crafty idea to gunk up the weapons and do that, to be used against the survivors because they're low on ammunition. So that makes a lot of sense that they'd be using kind of more knives and more kind of hand-to-hand weapons that are kind of gunked up with the zombie virus or the blood on it. Now, this is one that was always of high discussion in the comic book series of whether or not the zombie guts trick works. So does it work the same as a zombie bite? So if you get stabbed, or you get hit with a bat, or you get hit with any kind of weapon, a bolt, let's say, an arrow from a crossbow or something, that has been gunked up with the zombie guts recently, like let's say the day before, or the night before, or that morning before the battle, will it affect you the same way as a zombie bite would? And it's a little bit tricky to say in the Walking Dead comic book series. It was long debated. I remember when we did the reviews for the issues, when they hit and everything, people were kind of discussing whether or not that would work, and whether or not it's the same thing as a zombie bite and that kind of deal. Also because there's a part, and this is a little bit spoilery, but they might go a different route in the TV series, so there's no telling here whether or not this is actually going to happen the same way. But if you don't want to know the comic book version, then spoiler warning for you. Dwight is fighting for the Saviors, sort of, but he's on the side of the survivors, and he's basically forced to, at a point, shoot Rick with a bolt in the Walking Dead comic book series. Now, that probably won't be adapted in the TV series. At least it doesn't look like it so far. I guess they could do it verbatim if they wanted to, because it is in the comics. But right now, we haven't seen him using a crossbow. It doesn't look like it's going to translate. So we'll have to see if they even use that at all, or if there's any kind of thing like that happening. Maybe it could be something in this episode with Rick possibly being injured, as he's maybe in it with Negan and the others fighting back and forth, as something happens here in episode 12. So we'll see. But in the comic book series, he's shot with a bolt through the back. Now, he doesn't die as a result of this bolt. So what we're led to believe is that when they were gunking up their weapons, when the Saviors were gunking up their weapons, Dwight did not gunk up his bolt or his arrow. So that when Rick was shot with it, he didn't burn up, sweat out, and die. However, Nicholas, who was slashed on the back, and yes, Nicholas, he's right here, different version of Nicholas in the TV series, no dumpsters involved, or the Fear the Walking Dead Nicholas, or sure, they call him Nick a lot of times too. The comic book series version of Nicholas basically gets slashed on the back, as they're kind of, as they're being chased right here. He's kind of holding his back. So it's a pretty deep gash. It's a pretty bad gash, but he's able to walk from it, so it must not have, hit his spine or anything, so it couldn't be that deep at the back. But he does get slashed, lower, I would say upper lower lumbar area, so, down below half on your back. So he gets slashed by one of the gunked up, weapons from the Saviors, and he does, in fact, die as a result. He does burn out, he does die, and the doctor says that some of the others have died as well, too. So it's one that's kind of constantly been sort of debated back and forth whether or not it works. That's the interpretation that I'm seeing right now based on reading it, based on comments, and based on what the wiki has as well, too, is that Rick did not die because the bolt that he was shot with was not, zombie gutted up. Had it have been zombie gutted up, he would have died. So in a way, the zombie guts trick does kind of work. Now, that can also be argued as well, too. Some people think that, well, probably what happens is the weapons get so dirty with the disease dead that if you hit somebody, they will get a severe infection, and even if a doctor is to clean it up an hour, 2 hours later, whatever, when they can, because doctors, of course, in The Walking Dead are in short supply, the bacteria is so gross and so just like, just sewage, whatever type of, decaying, blood, guts, flesh, all this kind of stuff that gets in there, that basically the infection is like so bad that you can't fight it off, and you'll end up dying, even if you had probably a little bit of antibiotics. So I don't know, it's open to interpretation, but in terms of practical purposes, yes, in terms of practical purposes, the blood trick, the guts trick that Eugene has now given to Negan in the Walking Dead TV series does, for all intents and purposes, it does actually work. At least that's based on the comic book series version. There's some holes with it. There's some things about it I don't necessarily like. Parts of the TV series where you have characters that are drenched in zombie blood. You'll have Michonne, she'll go through and she'll hack up a whole bunch. Like I'm remembering season 5, for example, where she's hacked up all these zombies and she's just covered in blood, zombie blood everywhere. This is a hole in this idea, I would say, is because that is going to get everywhere. Like, we've seen some scenes where they're just, I remember season 5 in particular, just drenched in zombie guts and goo everywhere, like every orifice. Like there must be some getting close to your eye, mouth, this kind of deal. Your pores and your skin everywhere on you. And then those characters survive on afterwards. So it's a bit, it's a bit tricky. It's like, you would think that some of that would be absorbed. It's kind of like the 28 Days Later idea where you have kind of the blood droplet or whatever that comes down and hits the one guy in the, I think was it the eye? I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen 28 Days Later for a long time, but yeah, I think so. And then he kind of turns with the rage virus, and he kind of rages out, goes crazy. So something like that. That doesn't appear to be the case in The Walking Dead. So it's open to argumentation, however you want to look at it. The question of the zombie guts in the blood, is it just like brutal disease gunk that gets in your body and you get this terrible bacterial infection and die, or is it that the zombie virus does carry over in the blood? Up to you guys. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I don't think there's any clear right or wrong answer here, but that's based on the comic book series. That's what we're led to understand, or we're led to believe. So I thought that made sense to go through first because we have episode 12 coming up this weekend, and it's going to be a huge concentration because that's kind of what the Saviors are using as their main weapons right now, since they don't have much in the way of ammunition. So we'll get into some of your guys' Q&A questions for today, and send me some more if you guys want to see another video tomorrow for Walking Dead Season 8. Phil Swift says, Tara was like, you don't get to switch sides, but wasn't she on the governor's side? That's true. That's a hypocrite, right? That makes her a hypocrite in some ways. Now, she wasn't sure, but she didn't, at the same time, you could argue that too. You could say no, because she did put her weapon down. She didn't go in and start killing, actually kill a few survivors and then switch sides, which is actually what Dwight has done. So it's not, I get what you're saying, it's funny, but it's not exactly the same set of circumstances. Ronda Collins says, I'm really sort of done with Tara. I've never seen someone act so high and mighty that wasn't a villain. Hell, maybe she's going Dark Willow on us at the last minute. So it was true in this episode. A lot of people were really pissed off at Tara after seeing this episode. They didn't like what she did. They hated her afterwards. So it's what it is. I personally I don't hate Tara. I feel like, and Rosita kind of says the same thing as well, too. If someone had killed your significant other, or somebody you were with and you really cared about and loved a lot, then you would probably want to kill them back. So I personally don't fault Tara for it. But given this recent set of events, if Dwight is able to help out these survivors again, I think she should forgive him and she should allow him to live. And I think she will. I think that's probably what we will see. But you never know. They kind of went the other direction this week with the Dr. Carson thing, which I didn't think they would kill him off either. Resident Flea says, why can't you just admit the show just sucks and should be canceled? What a freaking fanboy. So Resident Flea calls me a fanboy. So it's cool, bro. Come at me if you want to. Here's the deal, right? So I love The Walking Dead. Am I a fanboy for The Walking Dead? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead. I've been a fan of The Walking Dead since before the TV series with the comic book series. I've been reviewing it for, every season it's been on, so it's over 8 years of the TV series, probably more like 9 or 10 years of the comic book series. Long, long time. Love comics, love TV shows, love movies, love action figures and all that good stuff, all that geeky stuff. So that's me. For you, it's the thing, man. It's up to you, right? It's your choice. Personally, I can't help but watch The Walking Dead every weekend. I love the show. I see the value in the show. I see why it got 17 million viewers a couple times throughout its run, which is a number that most shows can never even dream of getting anywhere close to. Most TV series, if they can get 2 or 3 million viewers, that's, a success. Gotham, for example, runs usually, last time I looked, at like 2 million US viewers an episode. A show that can get 17, and usually on average, if you look at all the episodes of every season, is probably in like the 10 range or somewhere like that, 10 million, beating out football, beating out all these other shows that are usually slaughter, everything on, NBA Finals and whatever else, these huge series. The Walking Dead is that good. The Walking Dead is that good that it's been able to do that. Now, has it been on for over 100 episodes? Yes, it has. Have I done videos? Top 7 reasons for the decline of The Walking Dead? Absolutely, I have. Have I done updates for you guys, letting you guys know where the series is at in terms of fan popularity? Absolutely, I have. So, I'm not 100% sitting here saying that everything is rainbows and gumdrops. The Walking Dead has struggled the last year to 2 years to keep those fans coming back to watch the episodes. They have struggled to do so. Is it because of any of those reasons I listed, and top 7 reasons for the decline of The Walking Dead? I'll put that video at the end here too, so you guys can check that out if you haven't seen it. I'm not oblivious to what's going on. The Walking Dead is not as hot as it was. You could say it's not as good as it was if you want to. I personally just think it's because it's been running for so long. They've done so many things. It's very hard to reinvent and keep going like that. Personally, I still love seeing the series. I still love watching it every week. I read every issue of the Walking Dead comic series. The day it's released, I watch every episode of the TV series. The day it's released, the premiere night, I love the series. It's a lot of fun. Personally, it's my hobby. I enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it anymore, you're somebody who doesn't, that's cool, man. That's totally up to you. If you don't want to watch the show, you don't want to watch my videos on the show, that's cool. It's your call. At the end of the day, it's not my job to convince you to like The Walking Dead if you don't. If you don't like The Walking Dead, that is up to you. That's your decision. I like The Walking Dead. I love watching the series every week. I love reading the comics every month. I like collecting figures from it. That's my thing. I love doing that. Do I see a lot of the things they're doing in each episode? Yes. Are there some episodes that are, filler-esque? Do I mention that in my review? Absolutely I do. If I see some stuff where you could see it as filler, I mention that in my reviews, when I see it that way. But everyone has their own tastes. Everyone has things they like. And if you don't like it, Resident Flea or anybody else, that's cool. That's up to you. Personally, I'm still really enjoying the Walking Dead series. I'm really enjoying All Out War. I'm very excited for episode 12. I'm very excited to see the final battle between Rick and Negan. And I'm very excited for Fear the Walking Dead season 4. That is honesty. I'm being honest with you. And it's not my job to convince you otherwise. I have a full-time job. I do this after hours. So you got to keep that in mind too. I make these videos with you guys. I do all this over and above working 40. I clocked 43 hours. It was like 42 and a half hours last week. So, whatever, man. It's your call. I don't care if you don't like, if you don't want to watch the show, if you don't want to watch what I do. That's totally up to you. But, and you're entitled to your opinion as well, too. If you want to do that in the comments, that's up to you. But personally, I love the series. I still enjoy the series, and I enjoy making videos and talking about it with you guys. I enjoy doing this with you guys too as well. And I know a lot of you guys enjoy the videos as well too. And thank you guys for that. I hope you guys do like it, and it's not just like a waste of time for me to do so and nobody cares. So yeah, if you're not enjoying as much as you once were, maybe check out some other series. You could watch. I don't know. There's all kinds of different stuff on. You could watch some of the Netflix shows that they're coming out with like crazy. You could watch, I don't know, something else if you don't like it. But I truly believe they're still trying their best to make the series as good as they can, and I think we have to give them a chance to do it. We have to give them a chance to build these new characters. You have a lot of characters that have been killed off now. They have to try as best as they can to rebuild and to have new ones and to emotionally get us to care for these new characters. It's not easy to do. It's a balancing act. You can't make everybody happy all the time. You have some people, like the girls, a lot of times they would like the relationships and the romance, this kind of stuff a lot. Some of the hardcore guys, they just want to see action all the time. So some people love the drama and the twists and the turns and these kind of things. You can't please everybody all the time. So if you really don't like it, you don't have to watch it. That's up to you. I'm going to continue to watch it because I enjoy it. That's what it is. Antonio Díaz says, the second half of Season 8 is pretty good in my opinion. And yeah, it is, man. It is. I think it's really great so far. And, Season 8 overall, I think is an incredible season. And the biggest thing I'm looking at this season comparing to prior seasons, and I do watch back prior seasons sometimes for throwback reviews and things like that, is in this season we're seeing a bigger scale than we've ever seen for Walking Dead before. We're seeing more characters all around. We're seeing more action. We're seeing bigger environments. We're seeing, more zombies, if you think about it, like at the beginning of the season with a huge herd that comes through, similar to Season 6 and that kind of thing. A lot of these things we're seeing right now, you could never even dream of seeing in Season 2 or Season 3 where they're just survival horror and there's like one small group of a dozen or more people, and that's pretty much the whole show. The show has become so big and there's so many things happening. Personally, I see what they're trying to do with it. I appreciate it. And same with the comic book series. It's got to change. It's got to evolve. A lot of people don't like the Commonwealth stuff that's been going on recently. And it's like, well, we got to give it a chance to see where they're going to go with it before we really judge too much. So let's wait until Season 8 is over before we say it's, the worst season ever or it's worse than Season 7 or something. Personally, I think it will probably end up being one of the better seasons of the show they've ever done. And really, we're just seeing a lot of burnout because the show's been on for forever. But you guys write your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about how you're feeling about Walking Dead right now. And, just all around. That's where I'm at. But again, I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to yours. Whatever you want to think of it is up to you. UGames332 says, man, good episode. It was so amateur to kill Carson. Like, really? I thought he was going to make it. I thought he was going to make it too. And see, that's one of the things in this episode that surprised me. And I think it's good that they do that, is that when you feel comfortable and you think they're going to go down this route, they go the other way. And then, you're like, whoa, because I was pretty sure that they were going to get back there. Like, I was like, that's why I like this episode a lot, is because they surprised me. They did something that I didn't think they were going to do that. And then they did it. So it was good. And even Gabriel getting recaptured, I did not see that. He didn't see it either. So we didn't see that coming. So it's what it is. And then the last one will be from Bruce Alves, who says they can make bullets, but don't they need magazines to hold the bullets? How are they going to get more magazines? And see, that's the thing about the practicality of what Eugene is trying to do, man. I mean, what he's trying to do is a difficult thing to do. And if you're trying to do that in wartime and you're trying to do that in like a couple days, like maybe you have 2 or 3 days to try to pump out, at least 100 to 1,000, maybe 1,000 rounds, in a shop, I mean, that is going to be tough to do in a couple days. I mean, you could bring that to a pro shop team and tell them the turnaround is going to be, we need it in 2 days. And they're going to be like, how many do you need in 2 days? That's going to be difficult. You need this and you need that and you need this. Because you kind of have to test them out. Like, you got to, get all the measurements and everything, get everything set, get all the materials, everything together as you need it. Start to produce and refine until you get it just right. And then once you get it in testing and once you get it just right, mass produce thousands and thousands or whatever you need. And to do that in like 2 days, there's not a lot you can get done in 2 days in working time. But if you're working around the clock 24 and you don't sleep or anything, then maybe you can get it done. It's just going to be tough, man, because like you said, magazines and, I don't even know all the things that would go into casting bullets like that. But, it's got to be pretty difficult. And, man, I just don't know the practicality of it. But then again, Eugene's really smart, so he's kind of one of those characters where you can allow the practicality to kind of the realism there to kind of get a little fuzzy, because he's really smart. He's unusually smart, so he's able to come up with these things that normal people would not be able to kind of come up with. He's creative in that way, I want to say. Hence the guts idea. Anyway, that'll be it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom. So for this one, see you guys again soon for another Walking Dead video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.